Media in the Philippines visit the Jing Si Hall in Quezon City to do a live broadcast on Tzu Chi's effort in building prefab homes. We'll learn more about the 11th solar term Xiaoshu and ways to make delicious cuisines that can beat the summer heat. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Nell. Thank you for joining us. In the Philippines, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to build prefab homes for high-end survivors, with volunteers from all walks of life. Getting word of their efforts, recently a television crew visited the Jing Si Hall in Quezon City to do a live segment for their morning show.
Assembling Tzu Chi's prefabricated homes in the Philippines is no easy task, as workers must endure the intense sun. The assembly of these prefabs at the Jing Si Hall in Quezon City has long attracted the attention of local media outlets, and today a television station is here to do a live interview.
As early as possible, nandun kami sa location para
We arrived here as soon as possible so that we could set everything up. We have been here since 1:02 in the morning and prepare the broadcast signal and equipment for the show.
A local TV channel, TV5 News, has been here since midnight to prepare a live segment on Tzu Chi's prefabs for their show, Good Morning Club.
Pero sir, itong kasi nasa National Disaster Consciousness Month tayo ngayon.
Explaining the details of the prefab homes, Tzu Chi Philippines Chapter Director Alfredo Lee and Ormoc Mayor Ondo Codilla were also interviewed.
This shelter is very good because the features are international grade and very solid. The space and everything about it is just what the victims need during their recovery. At this point, they are now giving homes to the victims, which is what is needed by the high-end survivors.
Tzu Chi volunteers hope through this media exposure, more seeds of compassion will be planted in people's hearts in the Philippines, inspiring them to do good deeds.
Staying in the Philippines but in Tacloban City, we meet John Roja, who has been unable to go to the bathroom normally following a colostomy. To give Roja a chance to live a normal life, Tzu Chi volunteers flew the boy to Manila to undergo another surgery. Traveling from Manila to Tacloban City, today Tzu Chi volunteers are here to visit 14-year-old John Roja, who was forced to quit school due to a health problem. Following a colostomy surgery, the boy can no longer go to the bathroom normally.
I'm different from other kids because I underwent a colostomy. It is very inconvenient for me to go to school.
Facing his health condition, John Roja has lost confidence. As Roja's parents don't make a lot of money, they cannot afford the surgery. Upon receiving the news, Tzu Chi volunteers decided to reach out with a helping hand.
Thanks God, nandyan yung Tzu Chi.
Thank you, God, for sending Tzu Chi volunteers to help us. I have never prayed for anything except for my child's health.
With Tzu Chi volunteers by their side, the Roja family travels from Tacloban to Manila, where John will receive another treatment to enhance his body's absorption of nutrients.
Now the road to education for my son will be smoother. He has been very shy and fearful because of his health problem.
Following the successful surgery, John breaks into a smile. Thanks to Tzu Chi, Roja can finally go to the bathroom normally and return to school with his head held up high. On July 4th, Rotary International President Gary Huang presented Master Zheng Yan, the founder of the Tzu Chi Foundation, with the Rotary's Award of Honor. Upon receiving the award, Master Zheng Yan said she was grateful, but the award does not belong to her. Instead, she is accepting it on behalf of the Tzu Chi volunteers around the globe, as it is they who are bringing Tzu Chi to all corners of the world.
In 1966, Master Zheng Yan established the Tzu Chi Foundation, giving impoverished residents a glimmer of hope. Following in Master Zheng Yan's footsteps, Tzu Chi volunteers span 5 continents, bringing comfort to the suffering. Affirming her leadership in Tzu Chi and her contribution in charity work around the world, Rotary International presented this year's Award of Honor to Master Zhen Yan.
Mr. Zhen Yan's compassionate deeds are done on such an international scale. She should be highly praised so everyone will know who she is, like Mother Teresa.
In the wake of disasters, angels clad in blue and white are there to help. Tzu Chi's assistance to flood survivors in Bangladesh in 1991 marked the NGO's first step towards international relief. Tzu Chi's strength is not unlike the Bamboo Coin Bank campaign, where many volunteers come together to form a river of blessings and assistance.
千手万手动哈，一个脚步踏出去呢，也同样万万步的路呢，大家呢一起走。
Her vision and plans are extraordinary. It's quite a feat to build schools and hospitals.
The first Taiwanese president of the International Rotary Club, Gary Huang, nominated and awarded Master Zhen Yan for the award in recognition of Tzu Chi's great love. Helping to eradicate polio in his country, the president of India, Pranab Mukherjee, was awarded with the Rotary International's Award of Honor last year.
The Indian government has given much support, mobilizing military personnel to help reach remote areas and help the Rotary and other health organizations complete this task.
Committed to maintaining peace in the world, former U.S. President Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, and Britain's Queen Elizabeth II were all past recipients.
The Queen of England has served her country for decades and has continued her philanthropic work in that time. She has a good reputation.
Two religious leaders who previously received the Rotary's Award of Honor were Mother Teresa and Pope Benedict XVI. What all these awardees have in common, whether they are governing a country or being a spiritual leader, is their commitment to serving humanity and the deep respect the public has for them.
The temperature over the weekend in Taipei was unbearable. It felt as if one is sitting inside an oven. This is because the 11th solar term Xiaoshu, which means minor heat, has arrived. Therefore, we have prepared this report to help you get through this heat.
Basking under the scorching sun, a whole city has been turned into an oven. Thus, an old saying goes, after the 11th solar term, Xiaoshu, passes, the temperature will continue to rise until the arrival of the 12th solar term, DaShu.
Typically, the highest temperature of the year usually falls between Xiaoshu and DaShu. There will be about 1 to 2 typhoons per month between July and September. And don't forget the heavy downpours of the afternoon thunderstorms.
The unstable weather poses a serious challenge to farmers. Though early season rice should be ripe now, a bountiful harvest is not always guaranteed.
We could run into typhoons which will knock down the rice plants and ruin our harvest. We aren't doing very well so far. Due to excess rains, many spikelets are duds.
Due to excess rainfall, many rice plants fail to be inseminated properly.
What else to do but cut our expenditure?
A flock of egrets follow closely after a harvester. What are they waiting for?
As the rice plants are pulled up, the insects underneath will be revealed, and the egrets want to eat them.
An invention of modern civilization, harvesters have greatly increased farmers' output. However, ultimately it is Mother Nature who will decide whether farmers will have a good harvest.
Suppose a typhoon is coming and all of my harvesters have been dispatched.
Racing against time, farmers try to finish harvesting before a typhoon arrives. The muggy weather of this season not only affects crops, but humans as well.
People will feel agitated and fatigued. Your head might feel stuffy and puffy. Your eyes might feel dry. Your shoulders might feel stiff. This is all due to the trapped moisture and heat.
When the flow of internal energy is blocked, Chinese medicine doctors will opt for gua sha therapy to treat the condition.
See this sha? This means unhealthy elements have caused blockage here. It's not cutting at the skin. You have to press down perpendicularly and then scrape lightly. Don't exert too much force. Just follow down with the muscles.
The fruits of the season can help fight off the heat as well.
Summer is the fire in the 5 elements, so we should eat something bitter for our heart.
Bitter melon salad helps replenish our heart and can be made quite easily.
The membrane is where all the bitter flavor is. By removing it, it will make the dish taste better. Immediately submerging the boiled slices in ice water will help it retain its texture and color.
Bitter melon is great for our eyes. It also detoxifies, expels heat, and protects our heart.
Lotus root salad is another great dish for this season.
The lotus root is rich in iron, so when it oxidizes, it turns black. That's why we soak it in salt water.
Lotus root is white in color, which is good for our lungs. It's also beneficial for our digestive system. People with blood pressure or diabetes can eat it too.
It is easy to lose one's temper in this season. Chinese medicine doctors thus advise that people should try to steal their hearts, for temperatures will only get hotter.
In our next report, we introduce a plant that has long been known for its beauty and purity, the lotus. Early summer is the season to admire the lotus, and numerous visitors flock to Tainan's Baihe to experience the region's annual Lotus Festival. Currently, the lotus plantations in Baihe account for 2/3 of total lotus production in Taiwan. However, the labor needed to work the lotus farm has been harder and harder to find as more youngsters have shied away from working in this area.
Every year from June to August, Tainan's Baihe celebrates a citywide lotus festival. In the light breeze, lotuses at the farm move back and forth as if dancing in the wind. The lotus is an aquatic perennial plant and is also known as furong in Chinese. The plant is comprised of a lotus seed pod as well as flowers and leaves.
The lotus normally grows up to a height of about 180 centimeters. Its flowers and leaves grow above the water. The leaves are round in shape without any cracks.
A common misconception is that the lotus and water lily are the same plant. In fact, the differences between the two can be easily seen if you know where to look. The lotus has rounded leaves without any cracks. Its leaves are above the water surface and its seed pod produces seeds. Both its seeds and roots are edible, and the plant blooms only in summer and autumn. The water lily, on the other hand, has leaves that have one crack and they normally float on the water surface. The plant has no seed pods, thus produces no edible seeds or roots, and blooms the whole year round.
Unlike lotus leaves, water lily leaves have no cotton, wax powder, or hairs, so they have a harder time retaining moisture.
Lotus seeds are normally harvested in the summer, while lotus roots are harvested in the winter. Its flowers open for just 4 days and normally bloom at 5 in the morning. The blossoms last anywhere from 2 to 10 hours.
On the 4th day, its petals will slowly fall before only the seed pod is left. 3 weeks later, the seeds will be ripe.
Native to Russia, Japan, China, India, and Australia, the lotus is famous for its beauty and economic value. as each part of the plant is edible. Currently, Tainan's Baihe grows over 300 hectares of lotuses, accounting for 2/3 of total production in Taiwan. However, the industry is now facing manpower shortages.
Over the years, as the population in Baihe has aged, the number of lotus farmers has also decreased. As working in lotus farms is a hot and humid work, the younger generation is reluctant to join the trade.
In the early days, lotus farmers usually hired workers and students to help process lotus seeds. However, now that scene has already become yesterday's memory, as the steps of processing lotus seeds is not only complicated, but also bad for the eyes.
This work is really complex and tiring. Each step needs to be done manually. You need to first deshell and demembrane the seeds before removing their bitter-tasting parts.
This yellow water lily is native to Taiwan and can be distinguished by its oval-shaped petals. There are over 500 species of water lilies worldwide, such as fragrant water lilies, black water lilies, and the coin-sized water lily, the world's smallest species, as well as giant water lilies that can hold up to 80 kilograms, all giving people a feast for both the nose and eyes.
In Taiwanese, "欧北来" means unruly and unorthodox. A group of young entrepreneurs have decided to name their tour company by this name because they want to break out of box by introducing sightseeing tours never seen before. Here's a glimpse of what their tour is like.
Though we named our tour jump-starting on popular tourist destinations in Taiwan, it's really neither a typical sightseeing tour nor a community revitalization project. What we really want to get across is for people to notice the beauty in life. It could be the person right next to you, a farmer, or small things that you have taken for granted.
As the tour bus pulls into the Jianan Plain, the granary of Taiwan, the unusual sightseeing begins. At their first stop, tourists first patrol a paddy. Led by a farmer, all have to take off their shoes and socks to get in touch with the land. Next, they shoulder 5 to 10 kilograms of water and learn to care for the rice plants. To ensure an even spray, each tourist has to swing the sprayer back and forth across 180 degrees. Only through actual doing this backbreaking work will these tourists comprehend the life of a farmer.
Some people on this trip don't even know that this is how rice is grown.
The tour company Obelai has attracted a group of like-minded young people who want to experience the beauty of Taiwan not commonly seen.
Taiwan's beauty cannot be simply defined or confined to a certain form. It's hard to define what is beautiful. You will only come to grasp it after you have experienced it.
Letting their imagination and creativity run wild, the young founders of the tour company wanted to start a business that would be beneficial to Taiwan's poorer, rural areas.
What do you think the life of a farmer is?
At first, we had no idea what it is like being a farmer, but after having lived a day as one, you will notice the difference in your life and values.
What's interesting about our tour is that we also include group discussions.
This kind of tour company is unheard of in Taiwan. Not only does Obelai fully disclose its cost breakdown, 15% of the profits are also donated to charity. Though this means less money in the bank, the young entrepreneurs feel that this is the best way for them to express their love for the island.
When we first started, we thought perhaps we could lead others into unfamiliar surroundings, where they could personally come to experience the story of those that live there. Perhaps the lesson learned will be different for everyone, but it might give them the courage to pursue their dreams.
In truth, we don't really do a lot. It's more like things just happened. I just happened to be here and just happened to be able to utilize my skills.
By helping people experiencing different aspects of their home, the founders of OBL believe that they can help their customers rediscover the beauty and power of Taiwan.
Next up in Taichung, Taiwan, we meet Ms. Xu, who is a single mother of 5, the youngest being 3 years old. Struggling to make ends meet, the family is constantly on the move as they're unable to pay rent. Recently, the family moved into a new place. To provide the family with a stable environment, Tzu Chi volunteers decided to subsidize the family's rent and also brought some second-hand furniture to help the family settle into their new home.
Pulling into the recycling station, volunteers load furniture onto the back of a van, which will later be taken to Tzu Chi care recipient Ms. Xu's home. As Xu was not home at the time, after getting her permission, Tzu Chi volunteers thoughtfully brought the furniture inside. Having only moved here recently because of the affordable rent, volunteers brought some second-hand furniture to help the family settle into their new home.
We brought some second-hand furniture for them to use. We also want to instill the concept of cherishing all resources.
Volunteers work to create a cozy living environment for the family. Soon after, Ms. Xu returns home from the doctor. It turns out her son had been injured playing basketball.
I don't know if we need to take out the pins. The doctor said we must go back for a checkup.
Unable to make ends meet and being a single mother of 5, Xu and her children are constantly on the move as they cannot afford rent. This time around, Tzu Chi volunteers decided to help with the rent.
Moving house is very tiresome, but now that they're settled here, we've come to help them.
Even after so many years, Tzu Chi's care for this family has never ceased. As the Xu family settles into their new home, volunteers extend their deepest blessings while also reminding the family to maintain the cleanliness of their surroundings.
We now introduce you to the daughter of a Tzu Chi care recipient in Nantou, Taiwan. Ah Hui was born with a heart condition and fibroma. Though she needs medical care constantly, she remains committed to her education. Not only has Ah Hui won the National Arts Education Merit Award, but will soon attend the affiliated high school of National Jinan University.
At Tzu Chi's Puli Liaison Office's aid distribution in June, the daughter of a care recipient, Ah Hui, who will study international trade at Jinan University's high school division, brought along her National Arts Education Merit Award to share with everyone.
Perhaps in the future, I can try to learn a second language such as English so I can help spread compassion just like Tzu Chi volunteers.
Born with congenital heart disease and fibroma, Ah Hui frequents the hospital regularly. But thanks to Tzu Chi's support, the optimistic girl can continue her education.
She's very brave. She has built up her own world, and we have all of you to thank for.
To reciprocate, Ah Hui often tutors children living in the mountains. Seeing the young girl grow up so well has comforted Tzu Chi volunteers.
She gets along with her classmates and is always eager to help others.
In spite of their hardship, Ah Hui and her mom are living life positively, and they hope to one day reciprocate the love they have received by helping the less fortunate.
We go to Thailand at the end of the show. Students and teachers at the Chiang Mai Tzu Chi School in An Phra Phang visited nearby villages to teach members of the public how to say no to drugs. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.